Virgo moon. Oh my God, this video. I have experience with these types. These people have a way of getting too extra about stuff. Like, they do. Like, and it ain't even like they are getting loud about it. They're just talking, but like what they're saying is so like, God damn, like I have to do this, this, and this to be like cool with you now? Like, what the fuck is that about? Because this is Virgo, right? So these people are very analytical and very detail oriented. So when they get emotional, they'll be like, oh, well, you didn't put, like, they'll say shit like this. Like, you'll have to sit something down on a table, right? But they want you to sit it down on a specific part of the table. Oh, you didn't sit that down right on the table. I sat it down on the fucking table. Chill the fuck out. You're bitching at me because I didn't sit it down exactly how you wanted me to? Are you fucking serious? That's the type of shit that these people do. And they're like, yes, and I'm very fucking, emotional about that. You're supposed to do that exactly right. Exactly like that. No room for errors. If you do that, you're not smart. You're not doing your due diligence. You're not doing shit right. You're not focused enough. These people get like that. And then it like kind of turns people away from them. I ain't gonna it does. It fucking does. It turns people away from them. Because they be like that when they get in their emotions. And they're like, they were cool at first. They didn't mind. But then all of a sudden they'll be like, oh, I told you to sit it down like this. Or I told you to move over there, not over there. Well, what the fuck? A minute ago you were, cool about how I did shit. But then I said something. I had said one thing to them. I said, I probably, I insulted their intelligence. And then they were like, oh, no. See, now you haven't done something right. You haven't, done this. You haven't done that. And a real smart person who's actually put together would do that. I do my shit right. I make sure I have my shit together. You ain't. You don't have your shit together. You ain't perfect. You ain't this. You ain't that. But then I try to throw it back in their face. But I usually don't. I just do what they say and be like, God damn, these people are whatever. They want to get so like nitpicky about shit when they get emotional. I don't particularly like this person, but I don't hate them either, because there's positives with that, because they help you see what you can improve upon. But that is criticism, and one who criticizes others is actually worse off than the person they're criticizing. That's what I know. So, like, when you get emotional like that, just remember that you should kind of like step back and be like, don't do that shit too much. Don't be too much of a nitpicker. Because then you're allowing yourself to like not have yourself. You want to have yourself, and you don't want to like not have yourself. So what? Or a person's like not like you, but that makes you even more whatever you are. You are a nitpicker, but you are a nitpicker that does that because somebody, because this is the moon sign. Because somebody has gotten you in your emotions and made you want to, not necessarily lash out, but like you're going to now nitpick everything they do. You want to say, I'm not this enough or not this enough. Well, you ain't but like very detailed about it. Not just throwing insults, but throwing insults that are very detailed. And it's like, where the fuck did this come from? Like, what the fuck is this about? You end up finding out that one of your friends might actually be, somewhat like a Like, they actually pay attention to you and shit. Like, little details about yourself that you didn't know about, but you'll, like, find out when they get emotional and shit. They're like, oh, yeah? Well, well, goddamn, man, I didn't, bitch, I didn't know that, or, I wasn't looking for all that, just digging my ass like that. But that's what they do, and they get emotional, and they do that to the people they, like, care about the most, because they don't want to see you fail. That's the key there, and they get worried about you. They also worry about themselves too. If they didn't, like, do something right, they can get really fucking depressed. Like, god damn, I should have did it like that, exactly like that. Now that I didn't, I kind of feel, depressed, angry, upset at myself too. They don't always take it out on other people. They can also put it on themselves too. Because remember, this is an earth sign in the meantime. But I knew people were like that in my past. I'm like, I have energy. Like, if I find a bitch like this, I'm gonna be like, whew, I know what I'm in for. But I don't prefer that. Unless it works to the angel's benefit. But be cool on the corner, because you aren't stupid. You might do that in a stupid way, though, when you're emotional. In a dumbass way when you're emotional. But I understand. You just don't want to see yourself fail and somebody else fail, but you're, like, also acknowledging that, you have not done those things, or somebody else has not done those things. You see those details or whatever, but, like, they were not done correctly. So then you're, like, upset about that. But that is Virgo moon. But try to be cool on the corner, because I am.